Jeff Altman, the Big Game Hunter. I'm the head coach for JobSearchCoachingHQ.com and NoBSCoachingAdvice.com. And I thought I would do a video for those situations where you're starting a new job as a way of heading off disappointment that sometimes occurs in the new role. And the issue for the disappointment, more often than not, is you. You do things that give yourself problems later on. Let me just be clear. I remember when I was married to my first wife, and yes, I'm married again. I interview much better now. My first wife, every time she would start a new job, the people she worked for were fabulous. They were terrific. I love these people. And then 2 weeks later, she'd come home and tell me that she wanted to quit. What was going on with her? In retrospect, I can kind of break it down into a couple of different places. Number one is her belief that there'd be no stress, no headaches, no problems in the new role, that everything would be sunshines and flowers and chocolates. And by that, I'm stereotyping. There'd be no issues whatsoever with her coworkers, that the work was going to be delicious, and everything was going to be hunky-dory. And obviously it isn't. And that self-delusion, that kidding yourself, became a problem for her because, these folks that she'd worked for became demanding because, she was an assistant to, I remember there was one job she had where she was working with the founders of a cable network. She was going to be their executive assistant. Had she stayed there, she'd be a very wealthy woman today. But she didn't. And I'll simply say that, these guys presented themselves in a nice, normal way, and she didn't have the wherewithal to listen to me when I said, hey, look, these guys are going to have a lot of pressure on them, and they're going to make demands of you. You will get stressed. And invariably, that is what happened. Another problem that would show up is that all the problems of the last position would be gone, and I'll be finally happy. And it's a lie that you tell yourself. And I'll simply say there will always be problems. Like I did a video in a podcast not long ago where I called attention to how often people start new jobs and there's some crisis going on in the organization, or there's been a reorg that's taken place from the time that they got the offer until now, and they walk into new situations where suddenly it's not the job that they thought it was. Well, sometimes even when it is the job that they thought it was, they didn't quite hear it. They didn't quite hear all the details because they were enamored with the person interviewing them. It becomes a lie that you tell yourself that now you're going to be happy. That raise that you got satisfies all your problems. By the way, the raise doesn't satisfy the problems. You outspend your income. And just giving you a few dollars more, well, frankly, you're going to outspend that too. So don't think that the next job is suddenly going to make you happy. And the last thing I alluded to before is they told you everything about the job. Now, they may have given you the basics, but I'm going to tell you there are things that they don't tell you about in the interview. And your coworkers don't tell you about either. A classic example is a guy that I coached who was taking a position with a small firm, and he was going to do customer service work for them. And they didn't tell him about this part of the job where when the reception went down for lunch, well, they had this thing called ding duty. Ding duty was that time where the receptionist was out and the different groups would alternate on a weekly basis as to who would cover the receptionist when the bell was struck, and someone was in the reception area. Hence the term ding duty, pressing the bell. Someone has to come out. There will always be little surprises like that that will show up in the new job. And initially it's, oh my God. Just consider that you're going to be surprised. that not everything is going to be perfect, that they've withheld certain information from you, just like you withheld certain information from them. It's just human nature. So I'll just say, don't lie to yourself. The next job isn't going to be perfect. You're not going to be happy forever. There are going to be days where you're just going to want to annihilate people. By the way, don't do that, please. You're just going to hate everyone. You're going to want to quit, and you're going to feel incredibly frustrated. You're going to come home at night stressed to the gills, thinking that they lied to you. And the worst place that this happens is for the person who's been at one job for a long period of time. They quit thinking that the next place is going to be perfect. It isn't. And the statistics show people who've been at one organization for a long time, the first job they go to is a short tour of duty. They learn their mistakes. They go on to the next one pretty quickly. So again, don't lie to yourself. Know that the next firm is going to have problems too. Your coworkers are not always going to be nice. The work is not always going to be perfect. You're going to feel stressed out. You're not always going to be happy. And the reality is, that's the way of life. So I hope you find this helpful. If you did, I hope you give it a great review on on YouTube, or if you're watching on Facebook, I hope you give it a thumbs up there and leave a message. If you're watching on YouTube, look in the lower corner there. Let me see if I can do that. Look in the lower corner, there's an icon. Click the icon so you can subscribe to my channel on YouTube and be notified whenever I release a new video. So hope you found this helpful. And if you're interested in my coaching you, connect with me on LinkedIn at linkedin.com/IN/the Big Game Hunter. Mention that you saw the video because I like knowing that I'm helping folks. Once we're connected, send me a note that you're interested in my help with your search. Not as a recruiter, as a coach who's helping you navigate the system. Or if you have a couple of questions, contact me through an app called Magnify, MAGNIFI. It's an iOS-only app, so we do a video conversation over Magnify. Otherwise, phone call through PrestoExperts.com. Hope you have a great day. Take care.